Hi, everybody. It's Monica with American English with Monica. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for letting me help you with your English lessons. This week, the phrasal verb is from you. Thank you. When you request phrasal verbs, it's awesome. It really lets me know your level and your interest in what you want to learn. It's great. You requested chalk up. Chalk up. To chalk up. What does that mean? I'll review it. But I also added the more common expression we use with chalk up. It's very different from this. Chalk it up to something. I'll review that next. So let's start with chalk up. If you're new here, welcome. So glad you're here. Be sure to subscribe and I'll keep making videos. So, to chalk up as a phrasal verb means to increase the number. Maybe add something, gain something. Maybe you earn something. So, if we chalk up, we are adding, gaining, achieving, and it's usually relating to a number of things. Like, we got 100 new customers last month. We chalked up 100 new people. Or the team playing a sport, they got a point, they scored a goal, they chalked up one more point on the scoreboard. So to add, to earn, to gain, achieve, gather. Sometimes there's a vote, maybe some candidates in a political situation, or maybe a popularity contest of a talent show or something. And when people get votes, they chalk up more and more support. They chalk up some votes. Now, this is not that common. I was surprised that someone requested this because in American English, it's not used that often for this meaning. The other phrasal verb I will show you today is used more often, but I wanted to explain this one. Okay? So if a team gets some more points, they chalked up 50 points. So let me talk about the next meaning that's more common. All right? But if you have an example of something that's been chalking up, put it in the comments. Now, maybe the person who requested this phrasal verb saw it or heard it in this context when we chalk it up to something. It's very different. So, chalk it up to something. This expression, this phrasal verb, means we are blaming someone. The result wasn't very good. The outcome was not what we hoped. And now we're looking for a reason. We want to blame something, right? She had a terrible holiday. She didn't enjoy her vacation at the beach because it rained the whole time. She's unhappy and she chalked it up to bad weather. Right? When we blame or we attribute to, we give credit to something, it's usually something negative. Attribute to, give credit to. We are chalking it up to that person or that thing. It's usually a thing. For example, let me give you some more examples. We usually use this when it's a negative outcome. We're not very happy with the results. Okay? For example, the new employee keeps making mistakes. We keep teaching him, but he keeps making mistakes. Well, we will chalk it up to inexperience. All right? He's new. Let's chalk it up to inexperience. It's a long word. You know this word? Inexperience. If you don't have experience yet, you are inexperienced. That's the adjective. This is the noun. Well, let's chalk it up to inexperience. He will improve after he's been here longer. Hopefully. All right? The relationship ended, right? His relationship ended, and now he's sad. He's just going to chalk it up to bad luck. So sometimes we use chalk it up to when we're blaming something, but maybe the reason that it really didn't go well is something different, but we're going to chalk it up to something else. Let me explain what I mean. If a business closes, a company fails. The company started, they were doing well, and then suddenly, whoosh, it's over. They had to close their doors. Now, we might know the real reason was because they didn't have good leadership. Maybe the managers were just awful, or maybe they weren't good at budgeting money. But the company said, we have to close. We're chalking it up to a poor economy, right? They're going to blame someone or something else, because sometimes it's hard to admit our mistakes, right? I see this happen sometimes with my students. If they have a job interview and they don't get the job, they might chalk it up to bad decision makers, or the company was not ready. They're chalking it up to something else. Maybe my student or the client needs to improve something. Maybe. I also see it in sports. When a sports team loses, it's not the outcome they wanted. They wanted to win. And when they lose, they might blame the referees. They might blame the unfair calls during the game, or they might blame the weather. They might chalk it up to something else. They might chalk their loss up to something else. But maybe the real reason was because they didn't practice enough, or their coach, their trainer, their leadership wasn't paying attention. Or maybe the other team was just much better than them, right? But sometimes when the result is not good, it's not what we wanted, sometimes we chalk it up to something else. Yeah, it happens. Can you think of any examples? Do you have any questions about either of these phrasal verbs? Write it in the comments. I'm so glad you're here. I love helping people with their English. And if you have a request for a phrasal verb, definitely type it in. If you've made a request for me to do a video about something else, pronunciation or meanings, idioms, I get a lot of idiom requests. If you've requested a video for something other than a phrasal verb, that's okay. I am making a list. Please keep sending your requests in. And someday in the future, I will add some more videos that aren't just phrasal verbs. But right now, I'm doing a phrasal verb video every Friday. Okay? All right. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next week. Bye.